Internets! Hello, you lovelies! Let's talk all about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man episode 5. We are halfway through season 1. This is the last episode in the block that aired today. You're watching this the day it came out. This is the last of that journey of those episodes, and it concludes a very interesting arc for Lonnie Lincoln. Now, if you're new to this page, I love comics, the comics themselves, and I review with the comic book perspective. I learned to read with Spider-Man. I've been reading Spider-Man for 30 plus years, and I've read far too much of it. I'm 23 issues away from every single Spider-Man ever in print. So I know my Spidey, and I really, really love comic books. So hit that subscription bell if you want to hear more about the comics themselves. But I also cover lots of movies. I cover lots of shows. So if you're a fan of pop culture, hit that subscribe. Also, please hit a like in this video so it can grow in the algorithm, and also so I know you like this video. And most of all, the thing I want most is, please, leave a comment below. Let's have a conversation like the back of a comic book store. Let's be respectful and kind. Let's discuss one of the best characters ever to do it, Spider-Man, and the adaptation that I am loving quite a bit in your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Episode 5 featured lots of escalation. We have the escalation of Spidey in that Future Foundation suit becoming the guy that's working with Harry Osborn. I love this dynamic. The friendship with Harry comes after the Spider-Man element. That is such a great way to subvert the comic book trope. I love the inversion of Spider-Man's what ruined Harry and Peter's relationship. Now there's a reluctant Harry and Peter relationship because of the use of the dude at the desk. Guys, to play around with your own internal mythology, what the MCU does so well is find ways to make these characters that work in one way modernize through this world they've already built in another. So the MCU is very much a product of the 2000s. It's very much the movie version of these characters. When you bring in Spider-Man years in, you've got to change some things. So they made basically the Miles Morales best friend Genki into Ned Leeds Spider-Man. So you've got that trope of the guy in the chair, which has become a pop culture phrase extraordinaire. So now the best friend becomes Harry Osborn mirroring the comic books, and that becomes the dude at the desk. I love the way they can make it echo. History repeats itself. History echoes. Now his best friend, but from the Spider-Man side, is the dude at the desk, which mirrors Genki, which mirrors the kind of Ned Leeds choice they did there. All of this is delightful. All the while, his actual good friend at school, Lonnie Lincoln, is getting the trademark Parker luck. In this show, Spider-Man has a lot more going right than he traditionally does in the comics so far. I'm sure that's going to change. Lonnie Lincoln is the one that's juggling stuff and having that really affect him in the way it usually affects Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man is obviously still juggling his internship, his school, being Spider-Man, the Nico friendship, relationship, and his other friendships, and we see that. But usually he doesn't make it. Him making it to the theater was such a beautiful moment where I'm like, finally some good for Spider-Man. But juxtaposing that, him having a friend in Lonnie Lincoln who is much more the, Harry Osborn trope in the comic books, who's kind of got a Flash Thompson thing going. Lonnie Lincoln is the one that leaves his football practice because instead of going to fight crime, to do crime. And I love how much they're making gangs look like you understand where the people are coming from without judging the people in the gangs, but also seeing how bad gangs are. It's doing an incredible job, much like that pizza episode, showing the dangers of being an adolescent in our current world, showing the dangers of needing people and community and not finding it in the right places. That pizza episode was so beautiful to show. Just because you don't have money doesn't mean you're a bad person, which every trope, but a lot of times superhero stuff. You don't see the people that are underprivileged in Gotham outside of the criminals often. That's one of the reasons I love the Penguin. They gave us the lower financial class people as not just bad guys in Gotham, but what they have to survive. They're giving us people with that pizza episode that are not just robbers for, they're not selfish, they're people trying to get by, and I really thought that was beautiful. Here, you see how someone that even is at their top of their game, pun intended, and school and class and all that stuff, fall into a gang, and how tricky that is, and him protecting his brother, and him being the same good guy that sacrificed his lunch, and they didn't even know he was going to sacrifice his lunch in the last episode, but now his brother, he took his place to protect his brother, now he's trapped in this situation, and how someone who is always trying to make his parents happy, always trying to protect his brother, always trying to make his coach happy, always trying to make his friends happy, could take the wrong good energy out of a bad group of people, how that community could form. I thought the gang stuff was fascinating. Gang wars and gang violence is a common element of Spider-Man storytelling. They're doing it really, really well here. And I love that Lonnie is Spider-Man in so many ways. I love that Lonnie is Harry in so many ways. I love that Harry is Ganke in so many ways, / Ned in so many ways. I love that Spider-Man is finally getting some time to be in a position of like actually having friends and juggling all this stuff. But once again, I think that is only for now. We also have some evolution of the Doc Ock storyline. Doc Ock looking just like his comic counterpart makes me so very happy. Literally looks like a John Romita Sr. meets John Ditko art combined come to life. I actually have really grown to love this animation because it allows you to have comic accurate faces and images, but you can move the background cinematically. And that whole scene with his like lair was so wonderfully like comic, but also him. So the animation has absolutely grown on me. Really curious about the Harry friendship now that he is officially the dude at the desk and what that's going to become. I really like the cliffhanger that is so sad and powerful of Lonnie getting the moniker. He is now Tombstone. When this show started and they said Lonnie Lincoln, I was like, oh, they're just using a Spider-Man character that we know and would recognize, but I doubt they'll actually, go all the way to make him Tombstone season 1. They've sprinkled in just enough that when he became Tombstone, not only was it a beautiful way to get that name, not only is it an intimidating thing, not only does it tie into his legacy of the football stuff and give us comic fans a thing, but it's the death of the character we've met so far. It's the end of that kid. Now he's in this world, and that is so intense and such a powerful use of an iconic name and comic, but also a word that has so much resonance. So really impressed with the writing, really impressed once again with the action. I love the choreography. I love the stuff they're doing with all the fights. I love playing around with the Rhino trope. They made the one guy that looked like a mix between Fancy Dan and Rhino, that was named as such. They had Dimitri bounce around. I forgot to mention that in the last review, but Dimitri, who's Chameleon, is the guy with the beard. That is, Kraven's brother, half-brother. But that whole element, they're doing a really cool job subverting stuff with these characters and making interesting choices and takes, but all while feeling like it's very authentically New York, all while feeling like the characters are getting their own individual arcs. And the way things land, I really, really love that Nico feels like she likes Parker and it's not him ignoring her, but him not really realizing it. That feels so authentically Peter Parker, but also I feel like Peter Parker's been in that position before, and that feels so authentically Spidey that Nico fits in this world so well. They're not just using her because they're runaways. They're not just making that, this character, kind of, they're really writing her in that relationship really well. And I loved Harry Osborne as an influencer. What would a billionaire son in this world be? I loved the commentary on homeschooling and loneliness and isolation and the importance of socialization. I love how smart he is. He's not dumb because of it, because sometimes that's the way, characters can come across. They really did a great job giving everyone in all socio-political and socio-economic climates an actual arc. And whether it's billionaire Harry Osborne that doesn't have a lot of friends because he's been isolated but he's intelligent, or Lonnie Lincoln who is doing so much in so many different categories getting pulled into a dangerous world, or Peter Parker who's not that well off but is in a point of privilege comparatively that's doing everything he can and juggling stuff but still needs to make money for Aunt May because they're past due on bills because that's life and the world. What do you do to make money? What do you do in this world that's so intense? They're doing such perfect Spider-Man stuff all around for all of our leads, all of our supporting characters. What a show. This, for me personally, I will say now that we're halfway, is in my top third of Marvel shows, putting it in my top third of the entire MCU. This is the top third MCU category for me, which is A's and B's. Like, this is an incredible so far A show. I like it up there. I'm going to say it's up there with X-Men 97 as far as adaptation and subverting expectations. And it's doing a lot more wild, different twists and turns. And I really love that. As a Spider-Man fan, I'm getting to be surprised and entertained and going, aha, like the web spinners. That's crazy last episode. So really loving this show. Please let me know in the comments what you think of it so far. Please leave a like in this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Next week, if these videos do well, I'll break it down into 6, 7, and 8. If these don't do that well, because a lot of people I know Real Rejects, we did reactions. Check them out. Live reactions of the show. We did them all as one chunk. If these don't do well, I'll just do it as a chunk next time. So please like, comment, etc. if you want these to be broken up so I can actually give you guys full individual recounts of each episode, because I really enjoy this show and I want to give it its time in each individual episode. But if they don't do well, the reason is they don't do well. The first not doing well will make the second one doing worse, make the third do even worse, and then the algorithm will say people don't want Spider-Man content on this guy's page, which hopefully isn't true. Spider-Man, come on. So I need these to do well in order to keep doing them as individuals, so hopefully you guys are here for that. Much love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and thank you as always to Comic Books for existing, and thank you to Spider-Man for existing. What a show. Okay, I'll see you guys next week for more Spidey. I'll see you later on this week for Love Hurts review, and hopefully I saw you for lots of Fantastic Four coverage. Lots of great stuff this week in comic and genre entertainment. Bye, guys.